Hello you guys, how you doing? This is another energy update, and I was thinking as well to share a little bit about my out-of-the-body experience, which I had a while ago, before the lockdown, long time ago actually. It was kind of interesting and strange at the same time. What the energetics like we are dealing with at the moment, I don't know if you notice, but a lot of your awareness come a little bit more online. I would say that we are experiencing like heightened awarenesses. I think we purged a lot of the density and the limitations. We probably worked through a lot of the stuff already. You know, every time you purge, every time you release something, either it's stuck in the body, it's not really stuck in the body has a ginormous amount of the memories, so it's in cells. So, you know, all you are doing is bringing everything to your conscious awareness. That's how you are shifting constantly. You can call it quantum jumping, you know, you can call it, I don't know, how other people are like shifting the realities. You can always call it that way because that's what it is actually. You are practically a new person all the time. On top of that, every 7 years, you are the cells are changing and you are having a practically different body. But of course, there is the residues are still in there. So when you incarnate it, especially as a starseed, because you're coming from somewhere else, you're not really coming from somewhere else. The consciousness is just different than the one, let's say, the regular humans have. The thing is that when you actually come in here to playing in this field, what's gonna happen is that your consciousness grows. With the time, you start remembering more and more who you really are, where you're coming from. You know, you've got access, you open all the other doors into, I don't know, being Arcturian, coming from Orion, you know, working on the spacecraft, or I don't know, having tons of past lives on Earth because you were recycled, you know, going on the karmic loop or like a incarnation loop. We're not gonna be doing this anymore. This is the end of it. This is your last ultimate lifetime on Earth. So we're creating something completely new, would have never been done before. And of course, when you do these changes on yourself, you already change, you grow, you have nowhere to go. So those of you who are thinking that, oh, I will never incarnate again, you know, I'm done with this, I want to get out, that's not gonna happen. You have to work for the shit. We all have to work through it. A lot of us came here to practically save this place and save those who got lost in the construct of this reality. And that's why we are purging a lot. You know, we are constantly discovering what we are not, just we can become completely like limitless. That's why the human journey is as well so difficult. And if you noticed at the moment, like we are going deeper into those wounds that we have, let's say with our parents, or because the parents, I was telling the other day to someone that my mom was 21 when she had me. Jesus, like when I remember where I was, like my mindset where I was, like when I was 21, I was still a kid, kind of. We are like double wounded. We are even triple wounded, which is like all this generational stuff what the body carries as well. It's still there. They would say that, okay, even if you change every 7 years, I would say there is still some residue, like, you know, what you still like a carry, like, you know, that kind of how you are hardwired. So it's not gonna be easy for a lot of you, let's say, overcome certain limitations that you have installed inside of you. So we are going at the moment energetically, we are going deeper and deeper into those wounds. Every time these cycles are coming, even like, I can use like astrology using like, let's say Mercury retrogrades, all right? That's 3 times a year. Then we've got eclipses. That's a regular, I think, twice or 4 times a year. I don't remember anymore. It's not really important. The earth is a cyclical kind of, it's just, the nature of this reality is like the cycles. We are constantly going through the cycles as well. You can see it in the nature, spring, summer, autumn, winter. It is always this kind of like a cycles. So you are discovering yourself always from a new perspective with the new awarenesses. So it's important that we do this work on ourselves, because we have nowhere to go. We have to evolve. The consciousness that you were before you come to this body was different. Now you have this experience, that have never been done before, and you grew, and then where are we going? That's why whatever we are doing in here, I don't think we have any other option but doing it. Like, we have a free will, right? But there is the story with the free will, you can choose certain things, but like certain things are set in stones as well. Let's say like the place you incarnated, the parents, that's what you chose, that you couldn't cheat, you couldn't change that. So now, looking back on the past, that's no longer define you anymore, because you are a different person. You are always, every single day, you are a different person. And this is as well a really good thing to do, to looking on everybody as well this way, that every single day the person is different. And looking on that person from that person is different today again. And every time you encounter another person, you can always try to look on these people like that they are new every single day, or every single time you see the person, you having a different experience, because you are changing. Because when you are changing, then the interaction with the same person is gonna be different and different and different all the time. We are going really deep. I have to say that I am back on my pain. I think we are working a lot through the relationships, and there is a lot of anger and all these lower frequencies, like being a passive aggressive, and a lot of arguments are like, I think a lot of starseeds are tired, just let's face that, because we sort of are done with the old script, and it seems to me that we don't even know how to create the new script. So because they have never been done before, so everything is kind of like a new creation, and we don't even know how to move forward. Probably a lot of you don't feel like doing anything, maybe you lost desires, like say for me, I don't have a desire to starting anything. I don't have a desire to open up a new business, or I don't have a desire to doing the stuff what I used to do. A lot of my desire is gone, actually, with the time, since the out of the body experience, obviously. Like, if we talk about like how did we wake up, what it means to be awake and things like that, a lot of people in the New Age community, and a lot of as well people who are like talking about certain topics, a lot of them did not have it as an experience. It's not experiential. So you always have to look on everything with the grain of salt, and taking in account as well your own personal experiences. So because that's what matters, obviously. That's where you have all the information. And everything what is outside of you is as well part of you. So even if you getting some information from outside of yourself, it's actually coming from you, because the other people are you as well, or it's a creation itself. Like, you are part of the creation. So obviously that part of you is you as well, yours. How are you getting the information? From who you're getting the information? From yourself, actually. your higher self, let's say, put you together with the people who are having the right information, so you can get moving through this ascension, or through this evolution, or through this what we are doing in here. Yeah, I'm not sure really why I'm actually saying that, but yes, the energetics these days, you're gonna be like going up and down. Sometimes it looks like that I have to drag my body out of the bed every day, or we are falling back into the same old patterns again, and a lot of pain. I have a lot of pain in the body at the moment. I have like all this part, like my female side is all kind of messed up, especially the hips and legs down. Hips are relationships, so we have to, I don't want to say forgiveness, I don't really like that word. There is this kind of talk in the spiritual community constantly about like this, like radical forgiveness, but there is nothing to forgive. What do you want to forgive to who? I mean, there is nothing really to forgive, you know? You just have to understand the things and accept the stuff. That's it. I had a lot of problem to accept certain things in my life, and every time I'm trying to like really look on it like very often. I was like, okay, am I able to accept this? And I'm like, no. Okay, I just can't stand that, and I am not gonna accept it. It's just no, and like and it's keep coming back and staring at me again, and it's like, okay, are you ready to accept it this time? I'm like, no, I'm still not ready to accept that. And so like you have to find sort of a patience as well with yourself, that if you're working through something, whatever it is, it could be anxiety, it could be fucked up relationships, like we are all in this together, and we all having a certain challenges. The challenges never really go away. This year is going to be very interesting because something is happening for a while. I already feeling it, that this year is just the year when everything probably gonna break down completely, and we're gonna have probably more and more disillusionment. But I would say I'm pretty awake, so I'm not sure what is gonna surprise me. Nothing really surprises me anymore, honestly. One more thing, and then I'm gonna share a little bit of the out-of-body experience, what I had, and how it look on the other side. We're gonna be working through anger, probably whole May, and I would say June. I would say we will be working through the densest stuff. So radical forgiveness as well, so hate, blame, anger, jealousy, vulnerability, thievery. So your relationship with money, you're gonna be looking on that. And the relationships in general, how we use the people, how bad we are to the people. You might be in the situations when you're gonna be lashing out to someone, and then you're gonna be like, oh gosh, I shouldn't do that, and I shouldn't be that angry with that person, or because you might get even angry that the person is still in your life. And if that happened, it's because first of all, you judging yourself, and second, you are angry actually with yourself that you still did not change. And it's oftentimes it's with a lot of things. So if you are having, let's say, addictions, or if you are depressed, or if you, I don't know, if you have an eating disorder, or whatever it is, it is usually you judging yourself as well. You're judging that it shouldn't be there, let's say. But on the other hand, like if you can look on it like that, it has an equal right to exist in your reality. The thing is that you have always the choice. Are you gonna go for it or not? Are you gonna do this or not? Usually when when we change, the way we change, it's usually the change is happening in your brain, you know. I mean, it's happening in your consciousness more. It happens more like your mindset changes, your perspective, the way you seeing the situation, or the way you seeing the disease, or a lot of things change just because you change the perspective. But number one thing I can tell you, what I know for sure, is you have to allow yourself to be yourself. You have to allow yourself to express yourself creatively, because if you're not doing it, you're gonna be always sick. Always. That's why, like, for me, the creativity, like, I never really lost it. I have been creative all my life. I was doing pottery for about 21 years. I was always drawing. I was always creating with the hands all the time. I never lost this. And I never understood how people cannot be creative if they are born creative. So if you are not doing something like that with your hands, or if you're not writing what you're supposed to be writing, you're always gonna be sick. The body is always gonna tell you that you're supposed to be doing it because it is your core design. It's a part of the human journey. It's a part of your human experience. So if you have anxiety, like, you better start doing something with yourself, because you have it, because you're not doing something what you're supposed to be doing. You're resisting yourself, your creative part. And there is identity, of course, like, behind all of that. Let's say diets don't work on the identity. You have to change identity first. Then if you change identity, then your reality changes. So, like, the biggest tool, guys, you have is to understand the reality. How is it created? How the creation actually works, how this construct that you are in works. This is your biggest power, is in the knowledge. And then to knowing how I don't want to say shift the perspectives, but it's kind of shifting the perspectives, I would say. I have to use some words. So whatever you're doing, wherever you at, look on your filters. Because what I've been saying, like, it's just crazy. Like, there is this woundedness, what we are going through. It's ginormous. And then, like, the expectations as well, what we have on ourselves. Look on yourself, how you judging yourself without even knowing that you are judging yourself. Well, the energetics are now, oh yeah, the Schumann resonance is completely shut down since the 21st of April, so I have no clue what's happening. I think something changed, something happened in the earth plane, and maybe how the ITs are, like, how the extraterrestrials are cleaning the atmosphere, something changed. That measurements, Schumann resonance doesn't work anymore, which is interesting. Maybe they shut down the antenna. Hard to say. But the frequency on the planet is way, way bigger than it was back then. So I think a lot of stuff is gonna be changing. A lot of people are gonna be exiting, and I think we will be seeing a lot this year. I don't know. There's something about a June which it keeps showing up for me as well. Other people are talking about it. I heard a few people. It bumped into my awareness yesterday. So don't resist the change, guys, whatever it is. And believe me, I am completely, like, on the bottom as well. Again, it's not that I have everything figured out, because that's the thing with the being conscious. It actually get harder. Things get harder. Oh yeah, and another thing as well, before I forget. A lot of the gifts we got from our earthly ancestors were activated this month, or like recently. And I mean, let's say I'm coming from Czech Republic, and I realized that there was one of the biggest alchemical place in the whole world was actually in Prague, and that we are the alchemists. And I was like, wow, I did not know that, but, like, it makes sense, because practically I am transmuting constantly the negative energy for the body. I'm constantly filtering the stuff, and it's an endless process. And the spiritual process, it's an alchemical process as well, like, So Okay, back to the out of the body experience. There was one day I think it was after, I don't know how many years I was meditating already, but I started to meditate because I hit the hard bottom when I became a mother, and I started to seeing that I am in this completely alone. I don't want to say I lost my family. I didn't. They still are there, but I realized that practically my mother will not be there to help me out, and I'm in it completely alone. So I think when my daughter was like 15 months, I completely hit the hard bottom. I remember I wanted to die. All I wanted to was to die. And I was always saying that, give me a gun, I shoot myself in the head. I always wanted to die. I couldn't cope with that. And I started to meditate because I was like, okay, I don't have many options though. I either die, but like I wouldn't probably not be able to jump off the cliff or something like that. I remember I was always suicidal though, like before. So, and I wanted to reset. I would probably go back anyway. It's just like that's the thing. Like I know that when you go on the other side, you just come back anyway. So there was I was meditating. It was after maybe 3 or 4 years I meditated. I lie down in the afternoon because I felt kind of off. That's when I was already like feeling a lot of the Schumann resonance peaks, like all of the lot of that stuff. I was feeling it a lot in that time already, and I fall asleep, and I had a dream, and I was lucid in it, and I was dreaming about feel good. I know that I dreamt about feel good and Lori a lot, like many times. They were like talking on the other side of the veil. Let's talk, and we were preparing stuff. So and then we just like kind of each one of us went the other directions. So I probably coming from the same soul group, I would say. And so I fall asleep, and I had this dream about feel good, and I remember that he was sitting in the kitchen, and he was telling me, oh, I am so happy that you know that I'm the light being. And I was telling him, oh, I know that you are a light being, yeah. And I remembered I came to him and I put my head on his head, and I felt this massive unconditional love. And I remember in that dream to telling myself, okay, I'm gonna go with it. I think my heart chakra probably opened in that time. I don't know, I see the chakras, but I did have a Kundalini experience before, and I had the experience of the piercing of the chakras. So that was like, for me, I already had a heart chakra open in that time. But probably I open up the portal, I don't know. Still don't understand. We're still constantly remembering how to actually, how this body work, and what we are doing in here anyway. And so I was thinking like, okay, I'm gonna go with it, like go with the feeling. And suddenly that the dream changed. And I start to being sucked through this like a tunnel. And I start hearing a music really, really, really loud. And it was like like this gaming music. And I was going through this blue tunnel full of lights. And it was physical. Like I remember on the bed I had like the paralysis. I couldn't move, and it was like squeezing me. It was very uncomfortable. I know it was like one of the most uncomfortable feeling I ever had, and it happened to me twice. And the second time it happened, I just couldn't go. I just couldn't do it. And then it stopped happening. But I think that was twice I had these out of the body experiences. One, I went through the blue tunnel. It was a wormhole, and I ended up on the spacecraft. And the second time I was going through the white tunnel, and I was going on a mission. So um, that's how for me the waking up practically to the other side was. So I ended up on the other side. I ended up on a spacecraft, and I was looking through the window. I was looking on other big massive ship that was picking up these white light balls. A long time I did not understand what was it. It looked like that it was like the either souls they were picked up, or it was like going back in time and seeing how we got in here. And then the dream stuff changed, and I was looking on this like a timeline. It was like a path which was moving, and there was a human wrestling with the wild pig. I don't know how you call the wild pig, boar in English. And I was looking on that timeline, and then suddenly the music stopped, and they stop fighting, and the music stopped, and it says the game over. And then that's the scene again. I got like pulled out of that scene, and I suddenly was standing in the flat in Italy where we used to live, and my dog was there. In that time, we adopted him. I think he's a part of the story actually. And then I woke up in here in Ireland again. So that was my that was the journey how I had this out of the body experience. So I did not really do much. It was more like that I was just like sort of I guess I got activated just to understand that we already ascended it. And then we came here to assist the earth plane to in the evolution and in the process of the ascension. Just that some of all of these kind of stood in me, and I since the time I'm more like telepathic, and I have visions, and I have knowingnesses, and sometimes I don't even know I'm there. It's a really strange feeling. It's like this absolute knowingness, knowing that I probably walked in. I don't know, hard to say. I know that I definitely did not went through all the process like growing up, and or like in my mom like as well. Like I don't think so. As I'm probably a kind of a walking, or I have no clue. I don't think that even the brain can comprehend like how this all was done. But that was my sort of experience, like what I experienced. And then the second time I had the day after was the same thing when I was going through the white tunnel, and I ended up on some sort of like a mission on a completely different planet. Very futuristic. Maybe it was a new Earth. Yeah, 33. Interesting. That was just like this reminder that practically the construct of this reality changed back in 2012, and we no longer locked in here for sure, but we have not nowhere really to go. We have to evolve because we changed as a consciousnesses. As the original consciousness that came here forgot everything, and we constantly remembering and more and more new stuff. But I know that we already ascended, and now we just like kind of are experiencing the process how we got there. So the ascension already, like the earth already ascended, and there is a place where we're gonna be probably going to, but we're not going to, like, probably not. I don't think so. We just have to evolve. Be doing it in here, and as well, like lot of the people are talking about like the out of body experiences. So I was thinking to give you mine. and just that we know that we not being like doomed. You know, my reality is so different. I don't even know that there was a COVID, honestly. If my daughter was not in the public school, I would not even know that there was something like that going on in the world. And honestly, I don't. There is no traces. I saw one person with a mask, like I think a couple of days ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot on that bit." I would say that like each one of us are experiencing a completely different realities, like and completely different constructs. What we are all like sort of like locked in, but we are not really locked in. It's interesting where we're going and how is it gonna go next, you know. I also see the grid and like I don't know how many different awarenesses you get these days, but what changed for me is that I start to be a clairaudient a little bit, which happened to me only once. Otherwise, I'm more like telepathic. I'm more like visionary. I'm more like getting the messages more as seeing the images in my mind's eye. Like it's this kind of like a impression on it. But we are working through what we are working through is like all these like old distortions from the childhood. Let's say you might be having some memories like from like all the kind of like heavy stuff is gonna come to the surface again to remind you again to look on it again from a different perspective, like a different point of view, to understand as well like the past and a lot of the ancestral stuff. Just we kind of getting more and more aware of it, and then we gonna be more and more using those gifts, but we are creating our own kind of a world on our own. Ultimately we came here to all to become the conscious creators. So I think that gets really frustrates me quite a lot, that I want to create something and doesn't come, and I get angry. But I think like that's a part of it, just to like exercise the patience and like really remember that we are powerful beings. I didn't give you anything like crazy today, but we are still working for the same stuff. Yeah. I just catch up with you a little bit today. I was thinking to show up and share my experience about the new earth really exists. It's a place where you can go all the time, but you have to first match that frequency. And you have to do it in the body, because you're taking the body with you. You do. We all do. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, guys, I'll let you go. I going. Be good. I hope that kind of a little bit cheer you up, and I'm sending you a big virtual hug, and thank you so much for all your donations and the support. And I put something on the webpage again, some new recipes are there, and I keep writing bits and pieces over there. I don't really know what I want to create. I'm still working on my deck. I'm not really know where is it going, so I have to be patient with myself as well. Okay guys, I love you so much. Be good, and I see you next time. Bye.